You're listening to the Cardinal Corner Podcast.
Something interesting, actually. Did you know that there's another book with a very similar title? Did
Yes.
you learn that yet? Okay.
Yeah, I've gotten confused already several times. So
Yeah, and it turns out the movie with Henry Cavill is the other one.
yeah, it's the wrong book.
It's the wrong book. So we were getting
Yeah.
hyped about the movie being made, and I think it's the same kind of topic, but not at the same time.
Okay.
So I think it's also a World War II story, but it's not about the same people that we're reading about.
I'm gonna search right now who he's playing. Who is he? What character is he playing?
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to know.
Because I think he's playing Gubbins, man.
Is he playing Gubbins?
I think he's playing Gubbins, which would be amazing because I love a good Colin. Man, I love a good Colin Gubbins.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
his name, right? Colin?
I think it's Colin. Yeah.
Let me
That
make
sounds
sure.
right. That sounds right to me.
At this whole episode, I'm going to be like, hold on one second. Let me
What's
fact
his
check this.
name? What's his name?
Colin Gubbins. Yeah, the handsome leader. I mean, you read about all the women swooning over Mr. Gubbins.
Just like Henry Cavill.
Just like it, man.
Is it
Yeah,
Cavill? Cavill? All
Man,
I know
we're-
is that in that movie, I want him to reload his arms just like he does in Mission Impossible. It's the
Yeah.
only requirement I have, I think. The only expectation I have of that movie.
Reloading.
Good little
Absolutely. Yeah, they got to add the sound effects. They
Yeah.
missed that on the other one.
Yeah.
You ready?
I think I'm ready. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. All right. Welcome to the Cardinal Corner Podcast, the only show where there's a free pasta bar. On today's mini episode, we'll be covering innovation in adversity. Of course, this is based off of the book that we're reading in our book club, Churchill's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So let's jump into it, man.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about this idea of innovation in adversity because I think it is a pretty, it's a broad idea that has a lot of very specific applications, I think, to the everyday person as well as these people, these legends that we're reading about in the book. Their type of innovation is like building a new bomb or finding out a new way to take down a U-boat or innovating on a plan that has, fallen through or something's happened. But I think every day we have the opportunity to innovate in our own lives with the menial things, like we'll say with our everyday tasks. You can always innovate, right? Find a better way to do them. But also, I think innovation has something to do with being creative and being flexible and adapting to whatever situation you have, right? So let's talk about that, man. Like, first of all, what does that look like for us today, in your opinion? How could I possibly innovate my life in adversity?
Well, I mean, that's the question of the day.
Just give me the answer.
I'm hoping
Come
to
on,
learn
man.
from you.
Dang it! I was hoping to learn from you.
Yeah. Well,
No, just-
an interesting thought is it becomes essential.
Yeah.
When you're in adversity and you're meeting unexpected walls, unexpected barriers, you are almost forced into innovation. And I've been really fascinated to find that some of the greatest innovation was developed under pressure, right?
Oh,
It
yeah.
was things were invented at the final moment when they needed it most, right? Which gives me some hope because it can be discouraging when we're facing adversity and we can't imagine a solution. We can't imagine a workaround. Well, it's a good reminder that, hey, some of these guys were developing bombs while Germany was already in full swing. They were developing the solution while adversity was at its height, right? So it's just something that I glean hope from and I am inspired by is, innovation can be forged most beautifully in the fire.
Yeah, I think that's what's the saying? There's like a saying, right? Like necessity is the mother of innovation. That's the saying, right? I think let me see what it says. Necessity is the mother of innovation.
We're Googling
it just says
today,
it's
man.
a proverb. We are Googling today. We need to. It just says it's in the dialogue of Greek Republic. So apparently it's just a saying, just a
Just as
proverb.
one of
But I
those
think
sayings.
it's so true. And I love the idea that the innovation happens in the space that you give it, right? If you're never looking to improve something, or you never give that innovation space and time to grow, then it will never happen. I think similarly to any expectations that we put on ourselves in our lives, if I only ever expect that I will go and I'll get a lame job that I hate, and I only expect that I'll ever make $10 an hour, and I only expect that that's what the world has to offer me, I will probably innovate to a certain point to reach that. I will probably won't go above it unless something crazy happens and an opportunity is presented to me on a platter, right?
Yeah.
But if I, by necessity, say, no, I have a higher expectation, that room will allow and almost force me to get there. It'll make me unlimit myself and do what needs to happen to get to the next thing. So I love that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. That just reminds me of this anecdote that I'm going to butcher. So get ready, because I got my butcher knives out, and they're not even knives, it's a sledgehammer, right? So I don't remember anything about the actual source of this story, but
yeah,
what I remember is there was a container that they put fleas in. Have you heard of this?
Yes. Yep.
And they're bouncing out, right? Because fleas are jumpers. And then they put a cap on the top of this container, and they realize that when they jump, they're going to bonk their head on the top of this container, right? Yeah. And so they start jumping just barely beneath it. And then these fleas over time, and I think they even bred in this container and in this little facility, they continue to jump the same height, and then they take the top off of the container and they don't jump out. They jump the same height. When we're talking about the subject of innovation, we have to recognize we probably got some patterns of behavior that are inhibited by what we perceive as a roof, right? But we have to start breaking those. We have to literally think outside the box in this scenario here, and start imagining what ifs. What if there was no roof here? What if this blockade that we perceive isn't true, or maybe isn't as severe as we think it is? And just really questioning our doubts, right? Doubting our doubts. I love that phrase. I think that's going to help us as we try to innovate, we try to develop, we try to grow, jump out of the box and go explore and jump on some dog, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
every person's dream.
That's my dream.
Yeah.
Just be a flea, jump out the box, jump on a dog. You're living the life, man. Free food, housing, warmth.
Travel.
Yeah, tree travel.
Well, I love that. So innovation, right? When I think of innovation, I think of like inventors, right? Or innovators. An innovator, right? Being someone that comes up with something new, pioneers an idea, or takes an idea and sees it to fruition. Because I think myself and probably many people would consider themselves some kind of innovator. Like, I have lots of good ideas.
Sure.
But many of those ideas don't see daylight, right? Maybe they end up in a notebook or something, but then they just kind of end there. So I think it is taking something new and bringing it out so that it's useful. I think that's why we're so enamored by things on social media like life hacks, right? That's a pretty old thing as far as the internet comes nowadays. Like, the life hack is an ancient internet idea, but it still happens. Like, every day I'll see something on Instagram and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Do you see the one the other day? I swear it was super, super big, about like getting a cup full of gas and then putting it up to like a hornet's nest, and they just fall out of it and die. And people are going crazy with that, right? And why is that so attractive to us? Like, those little daily innovations that we see, because not everybody's an inventor. Not everybody needs to, make the next iPhone.
Sure.
But killing a hornet's nest, when the moment comes, you want to kill those hornets in the best way possible. Another tangent before you answer, but I saw another video that I think was kind of parodying that today, and it freaked me the crap out because this old man, I don't know if it's fake or not, but I was not expecting it. He just goes up and grabs a hornet's nest that has bugs in it. And he's like, put the camera on my face. And so he tilts up the camera and he eats it. He eats the hornet nest, man.
No.
I was like, this is terrible. I like the
No.
other one better.
That's disgusting.
So anyway, back to my original question. You know,
I'm
why?
traumatized. How could you do that to me, man? Send me
It's
that
terrible.
video.
Okay, I should have. It scarred me.
Oh.
So why are those little innovations, like the useful things, why are they so interesting to us?
Yeah, biting a hornet's nest, man. That is
Yeah.
interesting. Cup full of gas. That's interesting. I wonder if it's. Now, I don't want to get too crazy here, but I mean, think about humanity and our just natural drive for creation. I genuinely believe that humans were created to create, right?
Yeah.
Our brains are wired to seek progress and to seek innovation and seek optimization, you know? And so I don't know if there's any other answer, at least for me. It's just like, I think we're just made for it, man. I think we just love it. We eat it up, literally.
Yeah, we eat it up. Well,
we eat it up.
I'm getting flashbacks from that.
Uh-huh.
I
What are
think
your
you're right.
thoughts, though?
No, I think you're right. It's like, why do artists exist, or why do musicians exist? Why does anybody try anything at all? Usually they're trying, it's that desire to create, right? It's that desire to produce something either useful or pleasing or helpful. And so yeah, I think you're exactly right. And I think we all to some degree have some innovator in us.
Heck yeah.
Like creation and creativity comes in all forms. Like I'll give you just an anecdote here about my family. So my dad, in his own way, loves to innovate things. He would tell you that he is like the least artistic person out there, but and he may be. He's not the best like drawer or painter ever, but he innovates in his own way. So my parents just got chickens, and my dad has been going crazy with innovating on his perfect chicken coop that he's gonna create. And it has all the little things that he wants in it because he knows that these chickens are some kind of a responsibility. And so if there's any little thing that he can do to make it better for him, he'll do that. And our neighbor, I guess my parents' neighbor, you know, where they live in Utah, he was also going to get chickens. And I think at some point they had kind of like a spoken agreement that like they were going to get the same kind of chicken coop. They were going to get like this prefab chicken coop together. And my dad was like, nah, I'm going to innovate. So he's like, he canceled his order and started drawing up his dream chicken coop, right? And so who knows? Maybe this, you know, he's innovating. My neighbor may not be innovating, but there may come a day where he wish he had, or maybe after he learns the burdens of chicken ownership, he'll then feel the necessity to inspire his innovation.
Oh, what a beautiful example with the chicken coop, man, and your dad. I love that. I love how you prefaced it with everyone can be an innovator. Again, sometimes we put these roofs over our heads that we don't jump up to, and we label ourselves as not creative, not artistic. Yeah. Well, you know, maybe in the traditional sense of like painting, right? But there are so many ways to be creative, to be innovative. Yeah. Think about chefs, right? That can be art. That can become art, right?
Yeah.
When they start innovating. It also reminds me of this really interesting quote thought I heard recently.
Yeah.
I was discussing like ancient civilizations with some friends of mine, which is just a random topic, but
you do that often.
Really, yeah. Pull out a card from my pocket. Ancient civilizations. Let's talk about that today.
Yeah.
But someone said that you can determine how well a civilization did based on their art. So if a civilization is thriving and they don't necessarily need to spend as much time getting food anymore, and they don't need to spend as much time building structures anymore and protecting themselves from weather, then they have time to develop art. or to study mathematics or to study astronomy.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
Really beautiful. And so now think about our lives. Do we have time to develop art? Do we have time to pursue a passion, whether that be chicken coops or astronomy or whatever it may be? We can almost use that as a gauge for our own life. And, like I had this time where I wasn't creating. I was not innovating because I was in a panic development mode almost for my life.
Yeah.
It was a full year of like, I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to read business books and I'm going to study and I'm not going to be as social as I once was. I'm not going to be as creative as I once was. And I remember my brother came to visit me and I was like dead. I was gray. All the jokes that we used to make weren't landing for me. And I didn't have anything interesting to say. And I realized I hadn't been creating. I hadn't been innovating. I had been in such a monk mode that I'd lost the color in my character, right?
Yeah.
And so now that I look back, I see that as a period of my time where I didn't have the capacity to create. And so now I prioritize time in my day to create, to innovate, to be, to have fun and to pursue a passion and develop something new. Because I think I see that as a sign of success. That's a sign of you're doing well, you're surviving, or you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Anyways, just an interesting little thought that this person had brought up that I really enjoyed.
That's great, man. I think that's wonderful. And I love that you mentioned that it's not always necessarily what we would traditionally think of as creativity. It comes in so many forms. I'm thinking about the book we're reading, right? Again, that's Churchill's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. And there's all sorts of people involved in this ministry. There are the inventors that literally sit down and invent new things, new apparati, I don't know, gadgets. They invent new bombs, they invent new gizmos and who's its and what's its galore, everything in between. So, but then you also have the strategists, the people that are sitting back in England in this case. They're not the ones in the fields on these guerrilla warfare campaigns, but they have to be the creative ones that come up with solutions to problems. And so even that is a type of innovation. They're creating these strategies and things that maybe have never existed before, or maybe didn't exist in the context that they were needed. So I think that's really insightful, that creativity and innovation, if we put a box on it, we're limiting ourselves to experiencing some kind of joy or some kind of growth.
Yeah. I mean, did we not just talk about this for you and I?
Yeah.
How we feel like we're more strategic, and we love that stuff. That's interesting to us, as we love the strategy, we love planning, we love developing ideas and fleshing them out. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty
and consistency, sometimes we're bad at that.
Yeah, putting the rubber to the road is difficult for us, and I think what's been really good for me is, again, removing the label, removing the roof from my head, and saying I could be an applicator. I could be an integrator if I want to be. I can develop that skill. I think I've learned a lot, and it's made me a better strategist. It's made me a better ideas guy, if you will, knowing the nitty-gritties, knowing putting the nails in the wood and screwing that in there and plugging that part over there. And, that's really helped me become a better strategist. So again, it's just really fascinating. We have to remove these labels and recognize, hey, we could be both. We could be one or the other. We could, we can't limit ourselves there.
Yeah. And the world will not stop at giving us some necessity, right? Like, stuff just happens. Stuff happens, and we, as humans, we do the best that we can with it. So, well, I have a little surprise, a little game that I think we're going to play just to finish things up here. Unless you have anything else to say on our little conversation here. Are you good to go? Do you have any last
I'm excited.
Insights?
I'm excited now about this game. I will say one more thing. One more
hit me
thought
with this last insight.
I couldn't dare put down. So I talk about this book a ton, but Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Wait, how do you say it? I forgot.
No, you nailed it. I think it's McKeown.
Greg McKeown. Okay, we just had a whole conversation about it, how his name was pronounced, and I still forgot how to say it. But so he talks about how gratitude can make you more resourceful, and how gratitude logistically applies to success. So now we're talking about innovation, and I'm thinking, what are some elements, what are some characteristics that we should develop to become better innovators? Number one is gratitude. And here's how he explains it. As you're more conscious about the things that you have, as you're more grateful and you make an effort to be grateful, and you literally run through everything in your brain that you have just to be grateful for it, you are going to have those things top of mind, which are going to help you be better or help you be more resourceful, right? So as you think more about what you have, you can absolutely be a better innovator because you're more aware of what's at your disposal, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a time of need, and let's say you lose your job, start being grateful for the relationships you do have. Start being grateful for the strengths and the skills that you have. And all of a sudden, your mind will start piecing together, wait a minute, I know this person over here who might have an opportunity that fits this skill set that I just recognize that I have, right? Then all of a sudden, maybe there's a connection there and you get a new job. But that's kind of a silly example, but it shows how that could work. And it just is a really powerful instrument in innovation and development. So couldn't end the conversation without throwing that in there. Just such a beautiful principle that honestly changed my life. Being grateful really helps in a logistic way.
Awesome, man. I love that. That is like gold right there. That is so good. So what a note to end it on, except for we're not done yet. End the conversation. We're done. We're done being serious now. We're going to play a freaking game.
Let's put on the silly caps, man.
Take off the thinking caps, put on your silly caps.
I'm excited. Right. So tell me about this.
Yes. So we're going to play a game called Guess Which of These Items Was Invented First. So
that's
I'm going to give
you...
long
name.
It's pretty simple. It's a very simple premise. Have you ever played higher or lower?
Yes.
Basically that. So
okay, awesome. Well, I'm excited. Let's do it.
Here's how it works. So I'm going to say two things, and you're going to tell me which one was created first in history. So the older one, and then we'll chat about it really quick. And your hint for all of these is that one of these things will always have been invented during World War I and maybe World War II, or World War II, maybe World War I. So most of them are World War II. I don't even know if that helps you at all, but
I expect to fail miserably, but
that's great.
Hope to succeed wildly. Because I mean, this is totally out of my ballpark, but let's do it, man. Let's jump into it.
And in case it wasn't clear, Robert does not know what these are. I came up with these on my own, so he's gonna be really guessing here. So
I'll be the guinea pig.
Number one, ATMs or the electric washing machine. Which one was invented first?
Ooh, okay, that's interesting. Banks are pretty old.
Banks are old.
Washing clothes is older, I would imagine, right?
Maybe, probably.
I think, but you could also be trying to trick me here. That's the thing that I'm worried about, is you could be trying to trick me because
I'm a tricky guy.
Naturally, I think washing machine. It was washing machine for clothes?
Yeah, the electric washing machine specifically.
Electric washing machine and an electric ATM?
Just ATM. I mean, electric ATM. Yes, I'll give you that.
Oh, okay. I mean, I gotta go washing machine. I mean, we've been washing clothes forever, right? So what is it?
Yep, you got it right. It was electric washing machine. So ATMs were invented in 1939, although they didn't really start being used until the 60s. That was when the inventor finally convinced a branch, like, hey, let me use this, because apparently the public perception was that these machines would be used for only shady purposes. And then 1907 for the electric washing machine. They've been around for a bit longer than I thought, honestly.
Yeah,
like, that's pretty dang old. So on to number two here. Liquid shampoo or the Kleenex?
Whoa.
Which one was
Liquid
invented
shampoo
first?
Or the Kleenex? Like the tissue, right?
Yeah, the disposable tissue. Yep.
I'm going to do something crazy here. I genuinely think it's the Kleenex.
You would be right. You nailed that one, man.
Yes. I'm on a streak.
So I forgot to mention ATMs. That one was during World War II, 1939.
Oh,
That was
okay.
during the war.
Wow.
Kleenexes as well. This one's a little bit different. The technology to create that specific type of fabric was invented before World War II, but it became a necessity during World War II to help meet up with all of the first aid needs that were happening. So that material was used for bandages and things.
Wow.
And then, liquid shampoo was 1927. So well done. Good guess.
A lot later on the liquid shampoo. I'm actually surprised there.
I know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We've been holding
crazy.
off on the liquid shampoo there. So
okay, on to number 3 here. So Velcro or zippers, which one was invented first?
Oh wow. Two instruments of closure.
2 of your favorite fasteners.
Yeah, 2 of my favorite fasteners in one. Velcro or the zipper. I think it's the zipper. It's got to be the zipper.
You are right. You're right. I think you're 3 for 3 now, right? That's crazy.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Whoa. So when was the Velcro created?
Velcro was 1954 and zippers was 1893. So it's by almost 50-year gap. And I believe Velcro was invented for space travel, or that was one of its first uses, was for the moon.
Wow.
The moon launch, actually. So, and then zippers, they were invented before the World Wars, but then when the World Wars happened, lots of jackets and military clothing were needed, and so they gained popularity. So, all right, you're doing well.
I mean, do I get a trophy?
No,
do I get a trophy?
You just get the next one. You get the next question. We're not done yet. Okay, the next one is duct tape versus Gorilla Glue. Which one was invented first? You familiar with Gorilla Glue?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I've made many mistakes with Gorilla Glue, man.
And fixed many mistakes with Gorilla Glue, hopefully.
Yeah. Duct tape or Gorilla Glue? Now, I think it would be easier to manufacture the glue because you're just kind of mixing some stuff together, right?
Yeah, it's just chemicals, right?
So I'm gonna say the glue.
Okay, you are wrong. You lost it all, lost the streak. So
are you sure?
I'm definitely
100%.
Sure because duct tape was invented during World War II in 1942. And then Gorilla Glue was invented in 94. So it's pretty recent. So big gap there.
Wow. Okay.
But here's actually a fun fact about both of those. Super glue, as we know today, was invented the same year that duct tape was.
Okay.
So glue was being worked on. So kind of tricky, but Gorilla Glue specifically is a product that was invented very recently. So.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. Next one. Silly putty versus hair gel. Which one was invented first?
This is dangerous. We're in dangerous territory. It could go either way. Silly putty, hair gel, both viscous.
Goopy.
Goopy. Yeah, goopy is the scientific term. Materials. One for the hair, one for pleasure.
Yeah.
Having
fun.
Silly putty is just like the toy, right?
Yeah, the toy, yeah.
It's just a silly, goofy little gap, right?
Bouncy.
Yep. It's got to be hair gel.
Wrong again. Silly putty was invented during World War II. Actually, it started out as an attempt to find a substitute for rubber because they used so much rubber during the war.
Oh,
and
wow!
It just ended up being a toy.
A toy.
Like, this is freaking useless, but it's a toy. We'll sell it as a toy. And then hair gel was the 1960s when that was. There was other types of hair creams and things. But the hair gel, as we know it today, was in the 60s.
Wow. So, I'd love to see what they were using before. Creams, ointments,
they had
lotions. I don't know.
They had some stuff, but it was always very greasy. It says that was one of the best things with hair gel was they found a way to make it not greasy and just kind of dry and, stick where it is.
Well, God bless those inventors, man.
Oh, yeah. Where would we be?
All right. Let's do the next one.
Okay. Next one. The Barbie, very timely with the movie coming out. So which one is invented first? Barbie or the Slinky?
Or Oppenheimer?
Barbie or Oppenheimer? Actually, no. The first atomic bomb was completely made using Slinkies. So this is... No, that's not true.
Okay, Barbie or the Slinky? Slinky feels simple. I mean, it's fun. Have you seen those videos of people like launching it
Oh yeah,
onto
doing
people's
trick
heads?
shots with Sleekies.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
getting points. Pew,
I
pew.
love it. I haven't seen that with the Barbie yet. So Barbie's a little behind on the trick shot game.
Fair enough.
But they're definitely ahead on the movie game. Haven't seen a Slinky movie, so
That's coming on next year. Actually, that's next
yeah.
in the toy verse.
I mean, I think Barbie actually. Barbie. I just remember seeing Barbies that were so old. It's got to be Barbie, right?
You would be wrong again. Now I'm
What
3
the
for 3,
heck?
man.
What the
So
heck?
Barbie was invented in 1959 by Barbara Millicent Barbie Roberts. And
Oh wow!
Slinkies were invented in 1943
By Slinkerton,
by
Slinky the
Slinkerton
Slinkerton.
Slinky Slinkerton
Oh wow!
McGee. So
Wow!
yeah, and so Slinkies were a World War II invention. They were invented as some kind of spring to stop instruments from vibrating. That was what it was supposed to be, and then just became a toy. So they were just like,
lot
this is
of
just
these
a bad spring, basically. So
A lot of these inventions are becoming toys.
I know.
There's something to that. There's some conspiracy, maybe. Maybe they're secretly just wars are actually toy development opportunities.
Hey, there's probably people that will try and sell you that idea, and they may not be entirely wrong. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, next one. We got 2 more. Next one.
Okay.
Ciabatta bread or M&M's.
Okay. I am actually unfamiliar with ciabatta bread.
You don't know what
is that?
ciabatta is? So it's a type of bread. It's very like airy. It has big bubbles in it. It's Italian. Very good. One of my top 7 breads, I'd say, probably. So,
Yeah.
and you know what M&M's are?
I do know what M&Ms are.
Good.
Yep. Okay, M&Ms or bubbly bread.
Bubbly bread, ciabatta.
Are you trying to trick me, man?
I could be.
Are you? I feel like M&Ms could have been created. It's like, oh, what's an efficient way to package sweets for the troops? Let's put it in little shells and stuff it in a bag. You know, I could see that being like the origin story.
Sure.
Coming out at the M&M movie next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Which one was it? Which one was first?
But bread is old as time. I mean, that's biblical. So it's bubbly bread or M&Ms. I mean, I just got to go crazy. I got to go with M&Ms.
You're going to go crazy. The M&Ms was older.
Older.
Okay, you would be right. M&Ms
Yes.
was older.
I was sweating on that one. I was like, please don't let me have a 4 streak of losses.
No, you nailed it. That one was a tricky one because, I mean, yeah, bread, you'd expect like ancient, right? But
Right.
from what I found online, it said that ciabatta was first created in 1982 in Italy. So not that long ago, someone created a new kind of bread.
Modern bread.
Yeah, and then you nailed it, man, with M&Ms. That was during World War II. And it was, yeah, he brought this guy named Mars who, you know, candy Mars.
We know Mars.
Yep, we know Mars. M&M's Mars was his first name was M&M's. M&M. He brought it to the Hershey Corporation, and they were the one that put the design into production in 1941. So,
wow, was it actually for troops?
I don't know that it was specifically for troops. It didn't say, but that would make sense to me. I mean, most candy bars, I guess. I know that candy, you know, you had your candy rations. That was like a thing during most wars. So,
wow.
Okay, last one. Now I'll give you a hint that neither of these next 2 were during World War I or II. Okay. So your 2 options. Which one was invented first? Chess or Sudoku?
Oh wow. Okay, so 2 games within our game.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Chess feels old.
Does feel old.
There's like ancient pictures of boards with little pieces on them.
Yeah.
But is it as old as words?
Math is old too. It's just math, right? Numbers in a row.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh! Wait. Okay, I was thinking.
I think you were thinking of crossword puzzle, probably. Yeah. But I was Sudoku's numbers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, numbers versus boards with pieces. I'm gonna go with chess.
That would be the right answer. That's a very good guess because the difference is vast, let me tell you. So chess was, they have no idea when, right? But sometime in the 6th century, And then
Whoa.
Sudoku was invented in Japan in 1979. So very recently by comparison. So
Okay.
you did pretty good. So I think you got, how many did you get?
I think I only got 5.
You got 5 out of 4. You got,
Or did I get 4 for
you
splitting?
got
it?
1, 2, 3, and then you missed 3, and then you got the last 2. So you got 6. 6 out of 8.
Wow. That
Well
ain't bad.
Well
that
done.
ain't bad.
So
Well, that was amazing. I mean, what a odd, confusing roller coaster to be on. Some of that shocked me quite a bit.
yeah, but hey, all
Sudoku
this
is a lot more modern.
I know that blew my mind. Sudoku and Shibata, I think, were the two that actually I was like, for real?
Yeah, the bubbly bread.
The bubbly bread. You would have assumed that we would have figured out all different kinds of ways to make bread by now, but I guess not. The Italians are still working at it. Who knows? Maybe Ciabatta 2 Electric Boogaloo will come out next year or something, and we'll be ready for that drop.
Hey, speaking of innovators, those Italians with bread, man.
Going crazy.
They are innovators. They're like Cecil Clark from the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, but for bread.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for playing the game with me, Bobby. So I think that's going to do it for this episode, right? We had a great time talking about innovation and playing that game. So thanks to everybody who listened this far to this episode of the Cardinal Corner podcast. So if you enjoyed it, make sure that you're following wherever you're listening to your podcasts. We're on all the big ones. So just go find us and throw us a follow so you don't miss more future fun games like this one. And follow us on social media. Make sure you're staying up to date. This book they're reading is crazy. It's getting crazy. So read it with us. It's been a fun time. So do all of that. And above all, remember that we love you and hope you're doing great.